From the nation's capital, your #1 source for news, national, regional, and global. This is Kairi FM Morning News.
Leader of the United Workers' Party, Ron Green, is calling on Prime Minister Roosevelt Kairi to apologize to the Dominican people. In an open letter, Mr. Green accused the Prime Minister Kairi for disrespecting the Dominican people by indicating that their actions by the British government to impose visa restrictions on local citizens.
Your recent remarks made on DBS Radio blaming Dominicans visiting their families in the UK for the British government's recent announcement that it may introduce visas for people visiting the United Kingdom from Dominica are inaccurate and bordering on reckless, and are causing much embarrassment to the Dominican people here at home and in the UK. Sir, by now you should have available to you the information pertaining to Dominicans visiting their families in the UK and overstaying. You are therefore fully aware that the incidence of Dominicans visiting their families in the UK, giving false information or overstaying are minimal and not what concern the British government. You have an obligation to correct the records and to apologize to the Dominican people whom you have so deeply offended by your inaccurate remark. As leader of the United Workers' Party, I therefore call on you to withdraw your unfortunate remarks, apologize to the Dominican people at home and in the UK, and to inform the Dominican population of the real reasons why the British government is now threatening to impose visa restrictions on us Dominicans. You're also fully aware that many of the concerns of the British government arise out of your government's issuance of Dominican diplomatic and general passports to persons of ill repute who have been associated with your government and who may be involved in money laundering and other criminal activities. I also call on you to let the Dominican people know what steps you have taken or intend to take within the next few weeks to remedy the situation and restore the British government's confidence in our Dominican passports so that they do not impose visas on us.
Chairman of the Marigot Constituency Association of the Dominican Labour Party, Harold Tyson, says several persons in that community are concerned about the leadership style of Senator Dayton Baptist. Baptist contested the December 18 general elections on a DLP ticket and lost. Mr. Tyson says the people of Marigot are not getting the representation required from the new senator.
Things were not that way. I mean, though we had our concerns and we had our restraints in the way that probably the party in terms of support to the constituency because of not a lot of support for the Labour Party, and we understand that probably it's all because of the rebuilding of the party, and we understand that. But given the situation, Mr. Baptist got the best of all those candidates in the past. Best opportunity, where we think Mr. Baptist should embrace the opportunities that was given by the Labour Party, notwithstanding the fact that he came onto the scene from probably, I can say, nowhere, because I did not even know Mr. Baptist. Many persons say they don't know who is Mr. Baptist. Now he becomes senator, and it's like Mr. Baptist thinks that, well, some of you did not want me. Now I am there. I'm a big man. I do what I want, when I want, if I want. I come to your meeting. Mr. Baptist have gone so far to say he's not coming to listen to Koshane. Is that the servant of the people? And we are looking for servant, people who can serve us in the community. We are looking for people who will be our boss. And we are only asking for Mr. Baptist to meet with us to discuss what is the forward movement for Marigot and the constituency. And by extension, we expect the hierarchy of the party to give us answers, because they are the ones who impose them on us. So we need to know what is happening.
Tyson says the process to select Baptist as the candidate was not legitimate.
He had his lobbyists or lobbyist group or lobbyist team on the ground who lobbied for him to get there. And I mean, there was a lot of character assassination within the period where Mr. Baptist got chosen, and it was all against the other candidates. And even now, Mr. Baptist seems to still continue with a level of the same. Because I mean, we have been still having reports where Mr. Baptist claimed that some persons don't vote for him, and he have been calling names. He called my names. He said I don't vote for him. He have even gone to say that I told him I'm not going to vote for him, which I voted for Mr. Baptist. But presently, I'm putting on the record to say that I have regrets that I voted for Mr. Baptist. So, if I did not, and he said that I don't vote for him, at least he would be telling the truth. But now, he's not being truthful. Because presently, there's no communication from party officials. Not even Mr. Baptist we know if they have spoken to him about anything. Because Mr. Baptist seems to have just a few persons around him, which it seems to be the same lobbyist people who worked along with him during the election period, and they do not command any respect of the Marigot people. And presently, if you take a walk on the ground in Marigot and you do an interview, you would realize that 95% or probably even 99% of the persons have concerns with Mr. Baptist and the way he does these things. I mean, Mr. Baptist have an office. He claimed, or persons claimed, that it's his business that he was going to open, and presently it appears like it's Mr. Baptist's office for the Labour Party. Mr. Baptist denied people from coming to his office. Well, I know I was denied from going to his office.
Chairman of the Marigot Constituency Association of the Dominican Labour Party, Harold Tyson. A delegation of 3 persons headed by National Coordinator Gregoire Thomas left Dominica Sunday for the People's Republic of China to represent Dominica at the World Expo 2010. The event is expected to take place from May 1 to October 31 in Shanghai, China, under the theme Better City, Better Life. Dominica's participation in Expo 2010 Shanghai, China will strive to stimulate interest in visitors who will come to see what the country has to offer at its booth. Such interest as a result of Expo 2010 is likely to result in an increase in number of visitors to our shores, additional market shares for our exports and investments in the country's productive sector. Support for Dominica's participation is being provided by the Chinese government and covers expenses associated with booth design, pavilion operating expenses, and other logistical arrangements. The National Telecommunications Regulatory Commission is on a drive to ensure that all radio stations are in compliance with the Telecommunications Act. Executive Director of the NTRC, Craig Nesty, says the regulatory body is in the process of finalizing frequency and licensing issues with local radio stations.
We've gone on a drive to ensure that all of the radio stations within Dominica are in full compliance with the Telecommunications Act, and all of the major players have been very cooperative. Kairi FM, Q95 DBS, they've all applied, and we're in the process of finalizing their licenses and frequency authorizations, which will determine what frequencies they can broadcast on and the power levels that they can broadcast on. So hopefully within the next few weeks we should have those finalized and the radio stations in full compliance with the Act. The regulation and licensing process is very important. Even if we only had 1 or 2 providers in the market, we need to ensure that everybody plays fairly within the sector. There are no harmful frequency interference between different parties. By getting everybody licensed and ensuring that all the new players who come into the market are also licensed, we'll be in the best position to regulate and govern the frequency spectrum within Dominica.
Dominica has placed second in the rankings of the most pure islands of the world. Out of the 10 islands honored in the Islands magazine April-May 2010 issue, Dominica was the only Caribbean island that was acknowledged. Islands considered and ranked the top 10 islands based on the destination's efforts to preserve culture and ecology with UNESCO World Heritage Sites, national parks, and sustainable opportunities for responsible travelers. Island's top editors provided their research and insight from their first-hand knowledge and experiences, along with the Sustainable Travel International, local tour operators, and Island's readers.